Okay, guys, let's get into this tea party invitation. The first thing I'm going to do is walk you guys through me trying to figure out which image to use. I tried this card many, many years ago, about 7 years ago, and so I'm pretty much going to use the same template that I did then. And that's the Teapot from Once Upon a Princess. I actually own that cartridge, so I had it available to me. I am going to size it to about 5 by 7. And then I'm going to get rid of that back layer. That black layer had to go. So now I'm going to just play with the layers and see which layer does what. And now I see. So let's go on ahead and hide that pink teapot layer. I selected both of them and sliced into it. That's not what I wanted. So I selected them again and welded them together. Now I'm going to start cutting away at this particular layer right here. So in order to do that, I grab a square. I highlight both of them, and then I hit slice. I didn't like where that one sliced, so I undid it, and then I did it again. Hit slice, and there I have it. I must have not liked it, so I'm doing it one more time, and I'm looking at each of the pieces. I like that one, so I'm going to slice the bottom too. So now I have those two pieces, those two black pieces that I decided that I wanted to keep. I go back and forth with undoing it to see what actually got sliced and how I like it, and does it fit and does it look good, yada yada yada. But I think I liked that one, so I kept it. Now I'm just adjusting and looking to see what it's going to look like, so we'll put that to the side. And now I'm getting ready to slice off the top of the teapot. I'm just grabbing a square and slicing away. I'm trying to line it so that I get a nice straight cut. I think I like that one. I deleted the pink. I didn't need it. Changed the color. And so now I am placing it back. I duplicated that because I thought I was going to put one on top of the other. I actually changed my mind later on in the design. So here I'm getting ready to slice off the handle to the teapot. I know I want that to be a different color. Select them both. Hit slice. And there I have it. I actually duplicated that pink layer first because I need one base to play with. So there we have it. We sliced it, making sure it's the same size. Delete the black one. I don't need it. Here I am playing with the spout of the teapot. I'm checking to see where I want to cut it. Cut that off. Perfect. Now I can play on this layer and see if I like what I have. So I know that all the pieces that I'm layering are going to be different colors. So I move that object to the front and just checking to see how it looks. Let's move that to the front, arrange, move to the front. And I liked it. It all seemed to fit pretty good. So now I'm just checking to see where the actual invitation can fit. So I'm going to need to hide everything behind that black square, highlight both of them and weld them together. Now I have the part where the invitation can go. And that part that you just saw me do is where the actual words will go. You have a couple of options with the words. You can print on Word. You know, you can just draw it up and then print it and put it on there, or you can have the Cricut write it. Here I am aligning a triangle and a square. I'm aligning them so that they're centered. Then I welded them together. Now I'm going to chop off the top of that triangle to make a little tea bag shape. This is going to serve as the little part of the tea bag that you pull, you know, that hangs out your cup. In hindsight, I should have made that circle larger. So I'm just cutting a circle out. I just sliced into it. Now I'm looking at the size and I think I like that size. So now I'm going to put the text on there. For this one, I'm actually going to have the Cricut write it. So I play with it a little bit, play with different options, different fonts. I can't remember which font I end up keeping, but fonts are not my thing. That is not my gift. I don't go to DeFont and get all the fonts and all that. It's just not my gift. So I just play with them until I'm pleased, and I guess I'm pleased here. So I just grab the tag and then I attach those words. I center it, then I attach the writing to that tag. Now I'm just putting some more writing down. And this is what's going to go on the actual front of the invitation. I'm shrinking it down. I'm centering it. I centered the text. Now I'm centering it on the front of the teapot. Then I am going to attach it. So do you see how they're attached to that? I'm moving the things around on my mat. Now I'm going to cut it. Now that I've cut that one, I've decided that I wanted to make a teapot that's my style. That first one's a traditional one. Now we're going to make a MAC teapot, the kind of teapot that I would want. So I'm grabbing some patterns that I purchased off Etsy that were already downloaded onto my Cricut design space. And I'm playing with the size and the direction of the patterns in the edit pattern function there. I'm lining them up. And in hindsight, I could have stopped with those patterns, and I liked the way that looked, and back and forth and thinking about it and all the things. That is my blend. It's the blend that I love. It's the blend that I use for my logo. That is my jam. So I decided to use that in the print and cut feature. Here I'm taking the silver and I am embossing it. I had the wrong sandwich there. And all that means is that I'm putting indentations into this paper. So you see the paper is flat, and then you run it through the little machine, and then it becomes textured. So here's the first teapot that I did, which is much smaller than the second and third ones that I did. But this one here is not embossed. So I'm just gluing everything down, making sure that everything works. This was my test run here. And I decided that it was just a little bit too small. I increased the size to 5 by 7. This one here, I think, was like 4.5 by 6.5 or something along those lines. And again, when you're ready for the actual invitation words on the inside, you can print that on a simple piece of copy paper and just cut it down to size and glue it down on that invitation, and you won't have a problem. Or you can have your Cricut write it for you. It's up to you. Next, I'm just grabbing some twine that I had readily available, and I'm playing with it, although that twine is very stiff. And then I'm just taping it to the back. And there we have it. It says pull top up. Excuse me. Now I'm grabbing, excuse me again. Now I'm grabbing some foam dots. And I'm just popping that up to give it a little dimension, and it also stops the card from going down too far. So I'm just playing with the card, and there we go. Now this is the larger card, so I have to do the stamping again. As you can see around the perimeter, I am testing my stamp. I'm playing with it. I love this stamp. This is probably my favorite floral stamp of all times. It's by Altenew, and it's called Peony Bouquet. When I tell you guys I love this floral stamp, I can't get enough of it. It is my most used floral stamp. And unfortunately, you are going to see my head quite a bit. So if you want to play the drinking game, every time you see my head, take a shot. And you will see it a lot, because in order to stamp the way that I am, I need to get over on top of it to line the stamp up. It's a multi-layer kind of stamp. It's a multi-step stamp. I like stamping like this. I like going freehand. I like taking my time. I like things to be couture, as I call them, which is everything is hand done. I could have put this in the MISTI, but that's not fun for me. This is how I like to stamp. I like to stamp by hand. I like to line up. I'm enjoying myself. I can do lots of these and not have an issue. I did my first set of invitations. I think I did 60, and I didn't have an issue doing that. Some people will not go through that. But again, that's a multi-step stamp. It's I think it's 3 steps to each flower. But once you get the hang of it, it goes pretty quickly, and it's fun for me again. I enjoy it. And I was using Altenew inks with that. Altenew inks are so vivid, so bright, so appropriate for their stamps. They have done all the work for you, so you could really just grab one of their color sets and make it work. And that's what I did here. I just used their blue set. I'm not exactly sure which blue set it is, but I will put that down in the description. I will link you to it. So here I'm just putting my art glitter glue, the only glue that I use now for pretty much everything. I'm putting that on the back of these pieces, and I'm gluing them down. I'm gluing down the sides first. And then I think I do the bottom. And I use my faithful tweezers to do the bottom. I don't know why, but I do. It's just easier. Use your tools, guys. And we just wiggle it a little bit and press, press, press. But not too hard because you don't want to mess up the embossing. And that paper is just 65-pound weight paper. It's the silver paper from Michaels. I'm sure everybody has got that set with the silver paper and the gold paper and the bronze paper. I tell you, that stamp just looks gorgeous. People thought that I had purchased that paper, but nope, made my own. I was going for the traditional Teapot. Here I'm rounding my corners with the corner chomper by We Are Memory Keepers to make it go in and out just a little bit easier. Here I'm grabbing another piece of that dark blue twine, and I'm just poking it through with my tweezers and taping it on the back like I did before. There we go. Again, I should have made that hole a little bit larger when you shrink it down. It's kind of like playing with Shrinky Dinks. You need to make the hole bigger because then it's going to shrink down. Yep, should have, didn't. Oh well. Got it through there, taped it. And now I'm going to tape that to that little piece there that's going to stop the card from going down too far. So here I am fidgeting with some tape and then just taping it down. I ended up putting just a touch of glue back there too to make it even more secure. And now I'm clipping it off with those diamond point scissors. I think those scissors are by Fiskars. And there we go. It may look small, but there's definitely enough room to put an invite on that paper. Again, you can use Word and just cut it down to size, or you can have your Cricut write it for you. But how much information do you really need to put on there? You need to put the date, the time, and where they're registered, and that's pretty much it. And there you have it. I love this teapot. It's fun, it's pretty, it's traditional. I just think it's cool. And there you have it. Now, let's play with mine. So I ended up doing the print to cut feature on Cricut with my blend. This is me tacking that down so that it's repositionable. So you put the tape on the back, you play with it a little bit, but just a little bit. And then you plop it down on some paper to tack it down to make it temporary. I'm using Versamark ink here. If you can see that stamp is moving, that's the oldest stamp in the world. I don't know where, but it's probably one of my most used background stamps. And it was moving too much, so I ended up having to tack it down with some adhesive. And then I felt better. Otherwise, I would have messed up that piece of paper there. I covered the words with a little piece of smaller shaped teapot paper. I just reduced the size of the image and cut it out for it with a scratch piece of paper, and that's the white thing that you see covering the words. Then I just stamp around it. Now I'm going to heat emboss it with clear embossing powder just to give it some texture so it's not so plain. And there you can see all the little dots around the paper, but they didn't get on the words. And I'm just tapping off the excess. And now I'm going to heat it up with my heat tool. That shiny stuff that you see on the letters is just repositionable adhesive. So after I finish, I just tap off that excess, put it back into the container. That's some super old embossing powder, guys. I've had that embossing powder for probably like 15 years. Kid you not. Then I decided I didn't love it, and I didn't know if I wanted it ink blended, which was my original idea. So there I cut another little shape out, put it over the words, and started ink blending. I am the ink blending queen. I don't know why I didn't take my time and really blend this properly. I think I was just in a hurry to finish it. I was so excited to get this video done, and I should have blended this much better. This is not my best blending work, but it's pretty, and it's fun, and it's vibrant. But again, I should have worked with this a little bit more. And the camera really, on camera, it really looks bad, but in person, it looks much better. The blend is a little bit more blended in person, if that makes any sense. But it came out super vibrant, and I love vibrant. That's mustard seed right there. Mustard seed is showing out. Mustard seed, picked raspberry, wilted violet, and blueprint sketch. That's my jam. So here I am, this is where I should have blended much better. Look at that. Again, not my best blending job for somebody who considers herself to be the blending queen, but it'll work for now. You get the gist. And here comes wilted violet. And I should have gone back over this maybe 2 more times. This paper that I use is the Nina 80-pound cardstock, which takes distressings pretty good. So here I am building onto my base. I use the print to cut feature for these here. Made it nice and easy. I didn't have to stamp all these or cut it by hand. Print to cut with my Cricut. And this pattern paper that I purchased from Etsy. And it's coming together nice and easily. I just love mixing patterns, you guys. This teapot is my jam. Love it. So I'm auditioning these pieces. I'm like, do I like that one? I just threw that behind it. Do I like that one? Or do I like this one? And of course, I went with the brightest one of all times. And I wish that I had blended it better because I ended up really enjoying that. And I should have added some texture on this in some kind of way. But yeah, I was in a hurry to get through this. So I'm just putting glue on the end so that the card has room to come down in between the base and that front side there. And I'm going to round the edges. And then we're just going to slip it in there, and it goes right in with no problems. And now I'm adding yet another pattern. Is 4 patterns too much? Yes, I could have stopped right here. I could have made that pattern in front an exact duplicate of what's behind it. And it might have been a little easier on the eye, or on most people's eyes, but it doesn't bother me. I don't mind that I used 4 different patterns. Oh, if I had a teapot at my house, which I do, but if I had a teapot that I could design, this is exactly what my teapot would look like. I just love it. I love ombres, guys. I love this ombre, obviously, which is why it's all over everything that I have, including my nails. And this is just, I like the foam, black foam dots better than the other ones, the white ones. It seems like they just disappear. You know, you really can't see them. You don't notice them on your cards and things. I think I got those, I don't know, I think I got those at the Scrapbook Expo. And I'm just plopping those down and lining it up. And I like where they are. And that stops the card from going down too far. And then I'm auditioning it again. Then I play with it. And move it around, play with the lighting. All right, so all cards need envelopes. So this is me making the envelope. I'm cutting the paper at 9.5 by 9.5. The envelope punch board told me what size to cut my paper at, since I'm making a 5 by 7 card, 9.5 by 9.5. If I were to buy another envelope punch board, which I probably will, make sure to get the cream one with the bow on it. Do not buy this one. This one here is outdated. And as you can see, the paper is longer than my score can take me, if that makes any sense. Get the one with the bow because it has an extended arm, and that extended arm is useful for stuff like this. I'm probably going to have to replace this one at some point. I am going to replace it. There's no doubt about it. I want the one that makes the bows too. And not because I can't make bows, but because I want an arm that is long. So I was trying to figure out how to make my Peony bouquet teapot match the envelope, and what I should have done is an actual complete stamp, but I was being lazy. I didn't want to pull everything back out. So I just grabbed the outline and blocked off a spot where you can put the person that you're addressing the letter to. And I decided I would do some stamping around that. In hindsight, not my greatest idea. I should have done some ink blending or something to actually show the square, but I didn't. Instead, I just masked off a circle and started stamping and didn't fully stamp around the whole square. So it looks kind of weird. Did I leave it like that? I did. Why? Because I was over it. I was ready to move on. I wanted to do this video for you guys. So again, if I were doing this all over again, I would probably do the layering of stamps or in the corner or something. But here I just grabbed a navy blue ink and started stamping all around that square. Which is okay. Or I should have connected them with some pen markings or something. But no, I didn't. So there you have that. And then I like to do seals and things on the back. So here I'm tacking this down. Actually, I think I'm permanently closing this one here. And I think I'm going to add one more stamp to the back. So I'm just testing my stamp. And then I've got to really give it a good smushing here because it's going on 2 different levels of paper, the lid and then the base. And it came out just fine. Perfect. Now we need to match the envelope to the funky teapot, the MAC teapot. So we're making another envelope again. Buy the beige We Are Memory Keepers envelope bow punch board. You will not be sorry. If you buy this one, you'll be annoyed. So I'm folding over all my edges after I've scored them. I punched off the little tips that will be showing. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to do a little ink blending to make it match. So I thought I would come off the corner, which is off-centered. The paper that I'm using is the 12 by 12 sheets from Michaels, so it's 65 pound. This paper does not love distress ink blending. There is a serious difference in what you can do with this paper and what you can do with Nina. Big difference. So you're going to see the choppiness, even though I'm actually doing a decent job blending here. It's going to be very choppy. It's going to be different. It gets the job done, but there is a big difference here. So then I decide that I want to do some striping, some black and white stripes on here. I grab my Tim Holtz stamp platform. I set it up. I grabbed the Simon Says stamp all striped up. I think it's called all striped up stamp set. One of my favorites because it's just stripes of all different sizes. You can make plaids and whatever you want. And what I should have done is moved that large magnet. That large magnet should not be there. It was causing all kinds of issues and I didn't realize it until it was too late. So then I was over it. I grabbed my VersaFine Clair ink, which is another one of my faves. That will really, if you have cheap stamps, that will change your stamp game. It just adheres so well and it's so crisp. That magnet was not allowing me to get to the paper in the places that you see where it's not going. And it's that magnet's fault. See, I'm doing CPR right here and I still can't get it a smooth line. And then I finally realized it's the magnet. After like the 8th time that I tried to stamp it. And I was doing CPR on my platform. Still can't get it. It's the magnet in the way. That magnet does not come with this platform for a reason. So eventually I take it out. Obviously not this time. There we go. I should have got a crisp line. I didn't. And I didn't fix it. I just let it go. And I decided to take a picture like that. So there you guys go. Those are the tea party invites. Super simple to do. Even though it doesn't look like it. Try one and let me know how it goes. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye-bye.